Welcome back to Stache Club Wrestling. My name is John.
My name is Dante.
The Stache Club Wrestling Podcast,
That's
I
right.
should say.
That's what we call it here.
Welcome back. What's going on? Howdy.
Doing?
Before we get too far into it, this is today's free episode. If you want today's episode ad-free as well as a bonus episode, go over to patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. For $5.99 a month, you get all of that, and it's all the backlog episodes and all that stuff.
Hell
so
yeah.
we appreciate everyone
Support
over
your
there.
boys. Thank you.
So, big week. I was actually doing the notes, and there's so much. But you saw some, I don't know if you want to call it breaking news, but I want to start off with what you saw on Twitter just now.
Yes.
I guess, what'd you say,
DIJAK
posted something? Okay.
Posted, so his contract with WWE expires tomorrow, and he put out this, it's like a little contract kind of thing where he's like, it's like a statement, but he signs it at the end, whatever. So it reads, "Here's the truth. WWE never negotiated with me. We attempted to negotiate and they stonewalled us.
Whoa.
They never made me a single offer. Then they informed me that they would not renew my contract at the 11th hour. 2 months ago, I was in one of the best matches in NXT history in a top match of WrestleMania weekend. On that day, top executive in WWE told me I was crushing it. I was slated to feud for the NXT title, but I got called up to Raw instead. I consistently outperformed everyone's expectations, especially throughout 2023 and early 2024.
Forgot he got called up in the draft.
He did.
And just
very just like sneaky.
Yeah.
I never complained about anything or is difficult to work with. I tirelessly pitched ideas to anyone who would listen as recently as the day before I was notified. I never once missed a booking, and I was injured one time in 7 years for 3 months. I'm thankful, disappointed, but also excited. This has lit a fire under me to relentlessly prove myself to the world. All I ever wanted was a fair shot, and now I have the opportunity to go out and take it. That's enough talk. Now it's time to do or die, Jack. My last day under WWE contract is June 8th, 2024. Bookings, interviews, book DIJAK, blah, blah, blah. Get ready to feast your fucking eyes. Signed, Donovan DIJAK.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So I started reading it initially, and then I was like, I'm going to save the rest of it for the podcast. That sucks. He was... like, he got called up to the main roster, like, when they did the draft. He was, like, one of the last picks or whatever, and it wasn't, like, didn't really get much
I was excited
attention
for him when it happened.
But I also was kind of, like, I was, like, he seems like a guy that they could do well on the main roster, but he was so good in NXT that I'm, like, I don't know if it can get much better. And, like, he has this, like, I don't even know if I'd call it a gimmick, but the shtick, I guess, on Twitter where he, like, ratios people. I don't know if you've, like, come across his Twitter. Where he's, like, someone, like, replies to him and goes, like, ratio this bitch or whatever. It's like, that's something, like, he just does a lot. He's very popular, like, especially in the internet wrestling community and stuff. And he obviously has amazing matches in NXT.
He's great.
Like,
it is shocking how they haven't. I mean, we've seen what, like, it's the same thing with him and Mace. Like, they were in... the fucking Retribution, and that was their initial call up. And like, even when he was in Retribution, he was still having NXT Classics and got put in that
100%.
And then, like you said, like you just read, he was coming off of a fantastic WrestleMania weekend, even being told like, "Oh, you're killing it," and and to not even be like negotiate, basically to be ignored.
Yeah,
and,
like we're not even gonna negotiate.
Yeah,
it's that also kind of surprises me because it's like to be honest, like with this day, with all these different companies and stuff, you would think that WWE would just be like, we want to keep you around so you don't go somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, at the same time, like you see something like this, wherever he goes next, he's going to kill it. Like he's just a really good performer, really cool. Again, like very popular in the internet wrestling community. So wherever he goes, he'll be fine.
I see him having a stint like Drew. I see him absolutely going. I think he's gonna do an indie run.
I don't think he should go to one company.
I don't think so.
I think he should just go to a bunch of different places, do his thing,
play around on the indies, do what like Drew and Cody did. Build your name up, and then if you want, sign to a TNA, New Japan, AEW.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, I remember I was telling you I went to that indie show. In Boston, I think it was a Beyond Wrestling show.
He's from Massachusetts.
Yeah, he's from Worcester.
From Leominster.
Oh, he's from
Leominster. Yeah.
He popped out to a indie show just to watch Mace, or AKA Brennan, and Mansoor, and he was like chilling in the back and just like really friendly, and people like whenever like it started to float around the room, I'm like, DIJAK's here. People would say hi to him and da da da.
Yeah.
So with that said, it seems like he's he has like I could absolutely see him. Who knows? We might start seeing him in Massachusetts indie shows.
Sure.
Like absolutely, you know. I'll bet you booking agents saw that and like, oh my God, we're gonna
big time
have DIJAK on our next show.
He's just like when you have his Wikipedia already updated. That's funny. On June 27th, DIJAK announced that WWE has not renewed his contract. Yeah, I was looking. I was like, I think there was a time
37.
when he like left or got released and came back, but no, I think he was just the retribution really made it seem like he just disappeared for a while. But no, he's been in WWE since 2017.
Wow. Wait, April 30th, 2024. The YouTube title is DIJAK's prepared to become a part of Raw once again.
Hate to see it.
Jesus Christ.
He was in ROH.
Oh, okay.
Before he went to WWE. So maybe I mean ROH and AEW are kind of hand in hand now, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, like I said, I think he seems like he's determined. I think he's gonna kill it.
37, still a good age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean you can still, go out in the indies, do your thing, and then again, one day either want to sign to another major company or maybe goes back to WWE one day. Who knows? But
yeah,
he'll do well wherever he goes. That's for sure.
Well,
all right.
So we have another kind of. We don't even talk about this too much, but since last week even, there's been rumors of Shane McMahon going to AEW, and Tony Khan has even stated, which he comments on everything, he's even stated that Shane would be more than welcome into AEW.
I'm sure he would be. Yeah, I don't know. Would it be like as a performer or like
no
behind
idea.
the scenes? I would imagine it's going to be both, or more so behind the scenes, because the last time he stepped into the ring, his quad exploded or whatever the fuck it was.
I'd be curious if he wants to.
He definitely would wrestle. I think he definitely would wrestle. I mean, him and AEW, bro, the things that they'd let him do.
Oh yeah, I mean, he would fucking kill himself.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be like, throw me in the blood and guts match. Yeah, I mean, hey, a McMahon and AEW. And
it would be crazy.
In 2024, it wouldn't shock me.
I mean, it'd be like
he's 54. I mean, come on, Shane.
It would be like not storyline, the invasion angle with Shane owning WCW or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But this time, a totally company that isn't owned by the same company.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, listen, to each their own. I just don't know how that would.
I think it'd be fun for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For 2 weeks, it would be like, oh shit, Shane McMahon is another company, and and it'd be sick. And then after that, he'd be a good authority figure, I think.
Right. Like the initial pop and stuff would be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. But then after a little bit, kind of like dies down.
It's kind of what I'm thinking.
There was a tweet that I saw that was really funny. I can't find it anymore, but it was like something. He puts out a tweet where it's like, oh, like Shane McMahon's wrestling someone tonight, but it's like Vince McMahon something with going to prison, but can Shane McMahon escape the blah 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 from this wrestler? I don't know what it was, but it was pretty funny. Yeah, hey, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
but I'm not. It's one of those things until it does happen. Like I'm not gonna put any weight into like the rumors or anything.
Yeah,
but
and like I said, that's why we don't even need to talk about it too much. It's just like it seems like a glancing rumor. If it happens, cool. It's not like hearing this isn't like it's not like a Punk return to WWE. It's not like a I don't know, fucking Copeland going to AEW. It's not like, it doesn't feel
Shane
like...
McMahon isn't like an active wrestler per se. He's more of like, when I see him more of like, if he goes to AEW, I'm thinking it more of like a business perspective. Then like he'll probably step in the ring, like I said, but yeah, I don't know.
Like I think for that, like we just said, for that initial like, there's a McMahon in AEW, crazy moment, fun for 2 weeks, and after that, it's like, okay, you know, because I don't think they're gonna like. It's not gonna be like the actual invasion angle where like it's WCW versus WWE. It's like the companies aren't working together, so it's not. I mean, they can kind of play into a war a little bit, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna actually be like Shane versus Triple H or anything. You know?
I wonder how much, if that did happen, like how many references or like
probably a lot.
I would
probably a lot,
a decent amount. But
we were already doing MJF impressions in like one of the videos we just filmed. It's just kind of like MJF cutting a feud on, you know, and your daddy, and just like there's so much of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Shouldn't you be standing trial for your daddy? Or like, I don't know, some shit like that.
We'll see how it plays out.
But anywho, so I'll make some comment about Stephanie, or like, your sister's fucking the new boss.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's anywho.
Some stupid shit.
All right, on SmackDown.
Big SmackDown.
Punk comes out. He's gloating about Drew and all of this, and then Paul Heyman comes down to the ring, and they share a nice little moment. I loved this. I thought this was so good. Paul comes down.
He's like, "Do you mind if I step in the ring or whatever?"
Yeah, and then big hug. Oh, it's so good to see you again, blah, blah. And then Paul warns him, practically begging him, leave now, because the bloodline will come. Like, I'm here now. I'm happy to see you, like, whatever, but, like, they're on their way.
Yeah.
So I'm here to warn you. Punk doesn't. He gets surrounded by the bloodline. Cody comes out with a chair to make the save, challenges Solo for a match later on that night.
So, you know what's funny is, just because you said it, when he came out, I also thought he came out with a chair. It was actually 2 bats, like baseball bats.
Oh.
So it looked like it initially. Then he gave Punk something.
Oh, he did give him a bat.
Oh, I was like, that just like split kind
Ooh,
of.
Mandela effect.
I was very confused. Paul said something. He was like, two options, not 2 options, but it's like under certain conditions or something like that. It was like, he said something, if like you take me with you or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll leave under like one whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
it was.
you're right. He did say,
because the bloodline came out and he goes, "Paul, what's your condition?" He goes, "Take me with you."
He wants out so fucking
funny,
bad,
dude. It's so good.
But yeah, and then so that kind of set up 2 things. One, later on, Drew shows up. Turns out didn't quit WWE.
Nope. Yeah, we were talking last week of how long he should be gone for.
Yeah, I guess
4 days.
I guess pulled a Jey Uso. Beats down Punk, carries him bloodied out to the arena, dumps
Great
him,
shot.
takes the bracelet. Yeah, just from the like again another camera angle like following him through Gorilla and all this. Dumps him out in front of Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah, they were Chicago. Right? Okay.
Chicago.
Dumps out in front of Chicago.
Great heel
sick. And then that would lead to, so we'll touch back on the Drew stuff on Raw, but then that would lead to later in the night, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. This, like, I was honestly, like, looking forward. I don't know, I was kind of, like, interested to see, like, how Solo would do against a Cody, because it looks like this is the feud they're going to. It looks like this might be a SummerSlam match or something if they do it. So I was kind of interested to get a glimpse of, like, what this could be. They got no fucking
literally like
time.
2 minutes, and then it ended in disqualification.
Started shenanigans. Tama and Loa come out, cause the DQ. Kevin Owens and Randy come out to save Cody, which we'll talk about their losses later on the show. And then our fucking guy,
yes sir,
Jacob Fatu debuts.
Dude,
oh my god, he looks awesome.
He lost, I guess, 35, 40 pounds since he signed. He looked like, I mean, you can tell he's he's slimmed down. I mean, he's still big, but slimmed down quite a bit. I love the shot of Solo getting like cornered, and he's just like, no. And then he starts smiling and like evil laughing. Boom, comes out, bro. The presentation of him right off rip, taking out Cody, taking out Randy.
Yes.
Eats a super kick from Kevin. Fucking goes crazy.
The top rope to the announce table on Cody.
Cody Rhodes, he said he broke 2 ribs because of that.
Really?
Yeah, he got fucked up. Yeah, dude, he is gonna be a menace.
I'm so excited.
There are all these reports over the last few months, which I don't know if they're real or not, but it was like, why isn't he getting called up? He's, as far as we know, like he got signed WrestleMania weekend, since like early April. It's like, why hasn't he debuted or anything? People are like, they're kind of concerned that he's gonna like take the spotlight away from Solo, because he's gonna mean, he's 32, still fairly young. He was a menace on the indies, and just such
his move set is so quick
for a big man, bro. He is great. I mean, we saw the frog splash right there. I mean, how many big guys can you see do that? Love the presentation.
Like, it kicks the presentation of Tama and Loa, like
big time.
Like, it's
100%.
day and night. You know,
you can tell that they have they have big plans. Even Triple H, when he was on the Pat McAfee show, they were talking about him. He goes, this guy's gonna be a difference maker. This guy is gonna be a star.
Genuinely, he's like the fucking future.
They're already making shirts for him and stuff. Like, what are they, a werewolf, I believe.
Samoan werewolf,
something
I think
like
is what
that.
it is.
Yeah, like they were like, a werewolf is on the loose or something like that. One of the announcers said. They're doing a bloodline ceremony tomorrow night. You know what? In that picture, they're all wearing suits. I think it's Tonga Loa. They literally just took him, flipped it, and then put Jacob's head on him. So it's, yeah, look at it. It's like they didn't like, he's not wearing a suit. It's just photoshopped.
Let's see. Bloodline. They're probably like, oh, fuck, we don't have Jacob in the suit.
No, genuinely. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, because the hands are the same and everything. It's like kind of just flipped.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right.
I saw someone point that out. And since I saw that comment, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, now that his head kind of looks a little off.
And just like even like you can tell like the distance of the thumb, it's like almost virtually the same.
That's funny. Huh.
And WWE has
even like looking at it, this doesn't look like the proportions are off. It doesn't seem, that's funny.
And WWE has a history of like
just like Photoshop
like a belt on like someone. Still Cody Rhodes, like his picture is still like the belt just like photoshopped on. I'm like, can you just not have him take a picture with the belt and use that moving forward?
Wow.
But it's something like funny.
He is unreal. I mean, we got to bring up that the time we saw him in the outside the hotel at Mania.
Oh man,
in Philly
called us oos and stuff like that. He's like, I was wearing the Boston hat. He's like, you from Boston? I'm like, how do you know that? I'm like,
how do you know that?
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, super cool dude.
Great guy. And
that literally, I'm pretty sure that was the day or like the day after he signed. So he was just like hanging out, whatever. Weird interaction at 3:30 in the morning outside of a hotel.
Yeah, it was that. But, it was fun that we were like waiting for our Uber, just chatting.
It was one of those things where it was like the next day I was like, we met Jacob Fatu last night. Like, that's kind of crazy. It just kind of went over our heads.
I said one of the moments is when we first saw him. I think he was like kind of hanging out, and he said hi to us, and he was chatting, and I kind of went, "You're Jacob Fatu, right?" And he goes, he said, "Yeah," and he goes, "Also, thanks for pronouncing my name right. Most people don't." And in my head, I was like, "Thank fucking God I did! Holy shit! Thank God I did! Jesus Christ!"
Who knows what he would have done if we mispronounced it?
But yeah, I am over the moon for him. This is one of the most exciting debuts for what the general audience to the general audience, like, they don't know who he is. And like I said, I think this beats Tama and Loa for sure. And I agree with you if you want to get into a little of him overshadowing Solo. I don't think it's fair to say that he is, but I think it's fair to say I wouldn't be surprised if they really nerf his moveset to make it a little less flashy.
Like at first, kind of whatever, and then as time goes on, maybe introduce more things and stuff.
I mean, I still think he can be a high flyer, but I don't think we're gonna see like springboards and shit like highlights.
Like, man, like Solo is doing his thing. You know, he's getting better. I know this is a different role for him.
Well, my problem with Solo has always been he's not believable in the role he's in. And you know who is? Jacob.
Yeah, I know. And like, not even to Solo's like to his defense, like he was just booked. Like he lost like so many matches to end the year. Like he beat Cena. But then after that, he kept losing and losing. Or it's like, how am I supposed to believe this guy of being the new leader of the bloodline, the new tribal chief head of the table, when he doesn't really have a good track record to begin with? And I think of like all those guys, like who would I want to see in a big time match against a Roman, against a Seth, a Drew, whatever. Eye test, just looking at him, picking Jacob. So
yeah, I'm excited to get a full match I don't think we're gonna see one for a little bit, but I'm excited to get like a straight one-on-one, see what they let him do and see what he's gonna look like in a WWE ring.
And what was I gonna say? This is like one of the best developments in the Bloodline story.
Yeah,
in a while.
Yeah,
too. I mean, obviously they had the introductions of Tama and Tonga, whatever. But I think this is really like a next like new chapter in the Bloodline.
I mean, if we really want to get into it, then because people are already predicting like, you know, another Bloodline Civil War, but now it's like maybe a Bloodline War Games match. Maybe it's Solo's Bloodline maybe Solo's bloodline is The Rock's bloodline versus a Roman bloodline, and the Usos come back, and maybe they get Sammy back. And like, there's so many
possibilities.
There's so many directions and possibilities they can do with now building a second fresh bloodline that we don't know who it aligns with. We don't know if it really aligns with Roman or like, you know, so we know The Rock. Like
we know we're getting Rock Roman at some point.
We know at bare minimum Rock and Roman is gonna happen.
100%.
Whether we get Rock and Cody, I would love it. I do think we are. So like having all that in the back of your mind while also this new bloodline is building up, and also I love the idea of a bloodline war games. Oh my god!
I mean you can make. I mean you got 4 now for the new bloodline. I think if you did want to do like Roman, Usos back in his corner, and then I mean Sammy. Makes sense in that case. I don't know who else it would be.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
So unless they introduce someone else.
Yeah, because like there's this guy Zilla, who is still
that's
rumored.
Umaga's son.
Okay,
his actual son. But I heard he's still very like new.
Oh, okay.
So I don't. Yeah, I mean there's a million of them.
Sure.
So they could introduce someone new, which wouldn't shock. I mean there was rumors of this other family member that's getting signed, and it was like a bunch of trademarks they were doing, and people thought that he was going to debut in the new bloodline before Jacob. So I don't know. You know, there's a lot of Samoans out there, a lot of family members. So we'll have to play and see. But like I said, good development.
Yeah,
new chapter.
Yeah, I'm curious what it seems like maybe Friday is going to be like a crowning of like maybe Solo's right hand man.
Sure, maybe. Well, they've been calling Tama Tonga the right hand man. I don't know if you've noticed that.
They
call him, and then they call him with the other guy. They call Tonga Loa
left hand guy,
the left hand man. Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting. The ceremony, maybe someone return. Maybe Jimmy comes back because he's been gone for a little bit.
Maybe Jimmy's like, what the hell is
what
it?
the fuck is going on?
Because we got a little bit. This is weeks ago. We got a little bit of Jay crossing paths with Tama and Loa.
Yeah.
So like,
and Paul Heyman was like, "Help, rescue me!"
What's so funny about that is how he's outwardly vocalizing like, "Help!" Like he's like to CM Punk in front of Solo. He's just like, "Take me."
Yeah,
with you.
very open. And also before Solo came out for the match, or whatever you want to call that, they were talking. He goes, "You're going against orders." Like Roman said, like no hands on Punk because he's near and dear to me, and like Cody Rhodes, you need to keep him in check, but like Roman will take care of it. And Solo's like, I hate to tell you, I'm telling you this because I love you. Roman isn't coming back.
Yes, he did say that. And Roman's not coming back.
In the background, people, we want Roman.
Yeah,
dude. I mean, I know Roman was the heel and all this and stuff, but he's gonna get a huge pop when he comes back.
Which I think definitely helps if they're gonna do like this evil bloodline versus like maybe a face bloodline. I think like he's too big of a star where he's not gonna get initially booed, and I think.
Because Roman at the end of it was like it turned into like he's supposed to be the bad guy.
Turned to respect,
but it was a respect thing, 100%. So
I think he can still toe the line of staying in character, being like the tribal chief. Because I wouldn't want him to start cutting like babyface promos. I agree. You know,
maybe he can do things where it's like looking back, like I was a narcissist. I got out of like if he's trying to bring back the Usos to like team up with him, he's got to have that sort of like. I'm sorry for how I acted. And that's fine.
All he needs to do is relate it to family, and he's good. All he needs to do is, you know what? We were always the bloodline. We're always a family, and this side of the family is going crazy. Like all he needs to do.
Like, this is mom's side. That's dad's side.
Sure,
like, we don't fuck with them or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited. I'm excited. Roman Reigns coming back, whenever that may be, is gonna like inject life into the storyline. I can't wait.
Post Money. I mean, Money in the Bank is what the end of the when
2 weeks.
July,
I think it's a week from Saturday.
I think
it might be Saturday.
No, it's not.
It's not a week from Saturday.
We have Forbidden Door predictions for Sunday.
You gotta be shitting me.
I forgot. I meant to tell you that earlier.
All right.
Which like so there's like confidence points to them, but like they could all be I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
you know, it's more just like. More of a fun, lighthearted.
Maybe we'll
one.
just do regular predictions. Well, we could do it.
We could do it. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We could do that for money. We got to figure out Money in the Bank. If we want to do like another like a briefcase. We did that last 1 or 2 years ago. We did so, but that's
for next week.
All right, let's move on for the sake of time. Excuse me, for the sake of time. Chelsea Green steals a win, defeating Bianca Belair and Michin to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank match.
I am so happy that she won.
Hell fucking yeah.
I just love the idea of her with that briefcase. We've talked about this. Like, the character that she has, she's playing the character. Like, her in-ring work, it plays a part into the whole, like, kind of like Karen-y type of, like, complaining about things, higher ups, but also just, like, you know, she's great in the ring, but her in-ring work resembles what her outside the ring work is. But like on the indies, unbelievable. In Impact Wrestling, such a good wrestler. I think if she wins the briefcase, that kind of like will make her a little bit more serious, and she can kind of like lean more into that. Like, she's this great character and stuff, but she can go in the ring.
See, I think the briefcase is going to lend to her silliness, but I think we're going to see her seriousness in ring open up with this ladder match, because like, we're getting Chelsea Green in a multi-woman ladder match.
Hell yeah.
So if anything, win or lose, if anything at the bare minimum, we're gonna kind of see this TNA Lucha Underground stuff come out if they let her. I could absolutely see them having her play like scared silly Chelsea in the ladder match. Hopefully they let her just go all out and she's flying off of shit.
Right,
she's, you know what I mean?
Like a coming out party in a way.
So that's going to be sick. I mean, I hope she wins it. I really do.
I don't know. I don't know if she's like in any of the qualifying matches, but like Tiffany's another one that we talked about. Maybe
feel like she has a qualifying match coming up. I might just be making.
She hasn't. I feel like she hasn't had a.
We haven't seen her in a little bit. I don't know what's going
on. So yeah, I mean, like, listen, Bianca was a big person in that match, but like, she doesn't need a Money in the Bank win or anything. I think this just really helps Chelsea Green a lot more. And seeing how the men's Money in the Bank is playing out, and also the women's, it's a lot of different like new names.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people that like aren't former world champions or whatever, and it's like unpredictable. Unpredictable matches.
Speaking of that, Carmelo Hayes defeats Randy Orton and Tama Tonga to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank match.
He did. He pinned Randy too.
He did pin Randy. I mean, like, just so yeah, that's why I transitioned to it. Like you were saying, it's all young, new guys and girls who haven't had that. It's what the Money in the Bank match should be.
100%.
And I feel like it's what I don't want to say hasn't been, but it hasn't been that to this degree in a while, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like, because it's always like you have your big hitter or two, and it's like, like this guy is going to be the favorite to win.
And then you'll fill it up with your Ricochets and your Kofi's.
Where it's like, aren't going to win. But like now, it's like, you know, and we can look at like who's in the matches like in a little bit, like what the card's looking like now. But there's a handful of people. I mean, like they could, like Andrade's in it. Right. Maybe they decide to be like, you know what, Andrade, like you've been here before and you're new, like you're back now, but like we can elevate you and like we can seriously build you up. Carmelo, he's young, but like why not? Like he proved himself in NXT. Maybe they strap the rocket on him and they just shoot him to the moon, whatever. You know, who knows? I
mean, these are some of the first qualifiers, and instantly I'm like, oh, I can see both them winning.
100%.
You know, and the same thing with Chelsea. Like I can see Chelsea winning, I see Carmelo winning, I see Andrade winning.
Chad Gable in the men's now.
Chad Gable qualified over there.
Maybe the reason why he's been losing all the intercontinental matches because they're just. We want you to be the world champ.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
But yeah.
I definitely have that later. I'm curious. I got some problems with the Chad stuff. I got some problems with the Chad stuff.
We'll get into that one.
But yeah, Carmelo, Andrade, and interesting to note, they both beat like Kevin didn't qualify.
Yep.
Randy didn't qualify.
Yeah.
Which I get, like they're making room because they were involved in the
match
thing.
Now,
blah blah. Yeah, right. That did get announced.
Yeah.
It's
Cody.
I think it's gonna be Tama instead of Loa. I think it's Tama, Jacob, Solo, and then Randy, Kevin, Cody.
Yeah,
at Money in the Bank. But yeah, exciting stuff. I'm excited to see how the rest of the Money in the Bank stuff
fills out.
Yeah, we'll jump over to Raw and we'll kind of keep talking about Money in the Bank stuff. But to bounce back on the Drew stuff, Drew comes out. Coming out now, it's his turn to gloat about beating down Punk and blah blah blah. Drew kind of berates the crowd and says that if you're still cheering for him, you're dead to me. Kind of explaining like, do you know what he did? He cost me this title in front of my family in my home country. How are you still rooting for him? You're dead to me. And then he's like, since you're dead to me, I'm talking to Punk now. Pulls out the bracelet that he stole
from him.
It has AJ and Larry's names on him. For those that don't know, AJ Lee, his wife, Larry, his dog, his beloved dog, famously. And he says that they're mine now. They are mine now. He announces he will be in the Money in the Bank match, which I don't remember. I don't know if it's official. He was talking to Pierce.
He's going to be in a match on Raw in like a triple threat match to qualify.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who else is in the match, but I saw. Oh,
Isn't
it's Drew, Sheamus, and
Ilya, right? Yeah, I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, okay.
That match is going to fucking slap.
Nuts. That's going to be crazy.
Crazy match.
Which I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be interesting to watch. Is Punk going to screw him out of another opportunity?
I would love to see Ilya in that match. That would be...
Yeah.
I would love it, but I mean, Drew... I guess he
but Drew goes against what we were saying. Because if it's... Imagine Ilya, Carmelo, Andrade. Who the fuck's winning that? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, if a Drew addition is almost too much story for him to win, which I like. I like the Money in the Bank match barely having any story and just like... It's a new guy that's going to win and start something new.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But in general, this feud, I love this feud.
They've been going...
I'm having a ball.
They've been going since early February. Mm-hmm. Or like, I guess since the Royal Rumble when he got hurt, Punk. They haven't had a single match yet. Yeah. And this is the best feud. Right. This is a feud of the year.
I mean, Punk's been injured the entire time. And this is wild. Yeah, I'm having a ball.
Like this, I hate to jump the gun. But this could go down as like a generational rivalry. Like this could go down as one of the best rivalries of the 2020s. Mm-hmm. Like I think it's already like towards like...
I mean, it's the feud of the summer.
It has 100%. Yeah. I think just the work that they've put in just on the mic, not even in the ring yet. I guess in the ring too, costing each other matches and stuff like that. Like it's just been perfect. I think they just need each other. And it like how it was supposed to be Punk Seth at Mania, and then Drew got tied into it. And this is like Punk's, I guess, real first feud back in WWE. And it's like, this has elevated Drew so much. And it's keeping Punk relevant and keeping him like towards the top. Like, it's just benefiting them both so much.
They could be wrestling soulmates.
They could be.
There's the thing though. Which, like, not that we're jumping the gun, but, and these two men are more than capable of this. They need to deliver in ring.
Yeah.
If they match all of this with some 4 and 5 star matches, like you said, all time.
Yeah.
But we need to see it in ring, which I'm excited for. I think you've said this, or we've said this in the past, where it's like, this needs to be like give it a best. I want 3 to 5 matches of this. Build on it. Have some shitty endings so you can have another one, or a best of 3.
Best of 3 or something like that. Have it end in like a Hell in a Cell or something. Sure. Yeah, man. If this carries over into the ring, we could be 2 of the first to say it could be one of the best feuds of like our lifetime.
I'm very excited
watching wrestling. So,
moving on, Sheamus interrupts Braun Breaker and Kaiser in a fun match. Braun did another one of those fucking runs up the ropes into a Frankenstein. You know, we say it every single week, but he's unbelievable. So that, you know, that kind of sets, you know, Sheamus, and he's going to be in the Money in the Bank match, and we're continuing Sheamus and Braun Breaker. Maybe Braun Breaker gets involved in the triple threat because he also has history with Ilya. I don't know. That led into backstage. Braun Breaker did end up standing tall from that, just to be clear. Backstage, Sami Zayn challenges Braun Breaker. He confronts him saying like, "Oh, you're complaining to Pierce and and he's like, "I'm right in front of you now if you want it." So it looks like we're getting Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker at Money in the Bank for the Intercontinental Championship.
We're getting blessed.
Fun. This is fun.
That's going to be such a good
Money
match.
in the Bank's shaping up.
Money in the Bank has a really solid card right now. I mean, I'm a sucker for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, like, we've talked about like favorite matches in the past and stuff. Money in the Bank is just like...
It deserves to be in the conversation of like, what are the main 4? Like, I would say it replaces like... I do love that like Survivor Series is like the War Games.
Right.
But if it had to replace Survivor Series, or if it's just like the main 5, that it's, you know...
It's to this day, it still upsets me. Like, I get it having its own pay-per-view and stuff, but man, having this match at WrestleMania was always fun. And now that they have 2 nights, 1 night men, 1 night women, you could do that. But I mean, I get having their own event. It's big. It's a big enough name as it is, so it might as well profit off of it. But yeah, that match is gonna kick ass.
So speaking of Money in the Bank, Lyra Valkyria defeats Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler to qualify for Women's Money in the Bank match. Love
Right
this.
move. Yeah, right decision.
Yeah, don't have much else to say about it. I mean, they are fully behind Lyra.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting, I don't know if you've ever come across it, but just if you come across an ad, like you're watching TV and you come across an ad for Raw or whatever, Lyra Valkyria is on that ad. So they are behind her.
They are big fans of her. She's great in the ring. I mean, she had a great run in NXT. She translated over well, so far. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, again, and this goes to exactly what we were saying. Now we have Chelsea and Lyra.
Yeah.
Both of these, new names. I mean, Chelsea's not new, but you know what I mean?
Right.
New names to the position they're in or could be in.
Both believable
Yeah.
winners, too.
Yeah.
I believe either one of those ladies could win. So, I'm excited.
All right, let's go. Let's go. There's a lot to cover. I want to make sure we get the Uncle Howdy stuff, but let's go to all the Liv stuff on Raw. There's a lot that happened. So Liv comes out. She cuts a promo. She's calling Dom Daddy Dom now.
Daddy Dom.
Zelina comes out to challenge for Liv's title. Could be the Money in the Bank title match.
Yep.
Not confirmed yet. Dom comes out. He claims that he wants to help Zelina win Rhea's title because he doesn't want it on Liv.
Yep.
If it's on Zelina, fine. But he's just trying to get it off of Liv. Ray comes out. LWO kind of backs Zelina, backs Dom into a corner, kind of shoves him against Liv a little bit. Dom gives Ray a good old shove. Boom. Ray takes the bump. Dom is left what the fuck? And now Liv is in the position of oh my God, you saved me. You're whatever. She's playing that up. Dom's all confused. He dips. My main point here, I think I tweeted this, is one, they're still keeping the Ray. It's interesting. I don't know if I like it or not, but every now and again, Ray and Dom cross paths.
Right.
And it's not it's not a full-fledged feud again. Which I guess it makes sense. They keep crossing paths because they are father and son.
Right.
But it's interesting how, every now and again, there's just an interaction and it's still the, I hate you. And, it's interesting.
I get it because Zelina's an LWO. And it's I get that involvement. Getting a phone call.
Sorry.
Spam.
It is spam.
But yeah, to me, it's Ray Dom is one of those things where I don't want, I feel it's got to be a special, it's got to be a big thing where it's they had their one-on-one match, they had the tag team match at Mania against each other, which I was kind of on the fence about because it's it not that it didn't mean anything, but it's I
mean, the match did prove that was the Kelsey's match too.
Yes.
So it's it did kind of prove to be oh, this is the fun crowd.
Exactly. And it's they announced they're gonna have a match on Raw, which is fine, but it's when I think of Ray versus Dom, I feel they could save that. That's a big match. They could have a big pay-per-view, have a stipulation. They're just and I'm not trying to go against what we've said in the past. You could have big matches on Raw. I just feel this was kind of just put together rather quickly, even though there doesn't need to be a story. Yeah. It's father and son, but I don't know.
And he is like a lot of his character is the, I hate my dad. He's a deadbeat. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of with you where I think it deserves more or it deserves a bigger build. If they especially revisiting it with how much Dom has grown since their feud, I think is going to be cool.
Because I also think of they had their, I'm not even going to consider the tag match of who has the upper hand over who. So it's they had their one-on-one match at 39.
Right.
I would always feel the next time they have a one-on-one match, Dom gets the upper hand. Now it's 1-1 and it's you have your tie. So it's I mean, this, I guess, could go towards that, whatever, and it could lead to a bigger match down the line. And if that's the case, then, I look stupid. But to me, it's just Dom Ray, that's cool, but I feel it's not being forced, or it's just happening quick. It's they could save it. That's all.
The one thing I like about it is this is kind of the takeaway I had from it is since it is Liv Morgan kind of seducing Dom and and then trying to take the kid from mommy and whatever, and then you involve Ray. You involve his dad. My thing is, Liv is this this unhinged, hot, like crazy girl, whatever, that's trying to date Dom, whatever. Ray, I think Ray came out partly because he disapproves.
Right.
He's like, at the end of the day, he's still his son.
He's like, he comes out like, I hate you still, but he leans over, but I'm proud of you.
Well, see, I'm the other way, where I think Ray is like, you're my son. This girl's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm like,
date her.
I don't like you, but I'm looking out for you.
Yeah, I'm looking out for. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I took it. But point being is because Dom fucking hates his dad. Ray disapproves of the girl. Dom's gonna fucking run into her.
Okay,
arms.
Dad,
You know what
don't
I mean?
like the girl? You know, I actually really do like her.
It's classic, teenager. The parents disapprove of the person.
Like next week, like Liv helps Dom beat Ray. That,
you know what I mean?
I
That's
get it.
why, because I'm fully with you on like the Ray versus Dom stuff. However, in terms of the storytelling of this high school relationship thing, I think involving his dad is so good. You know what I mean?
I get it. I think maybe just like I'm a little more critical on the match happening, but like I understand the implementing and putting Ray into all this as well. It is pretty funny.
Like you mentioned, Liv gets a couple things accomplished. One, she gets Dom versus Ray for next week.
She's 100% going to help Dom win.
That's got
to happen.
I think. And like you said, that would give Dom the W if they want to revisit the rubber match later.
Yeah.
They have that. But yeah, I think so too. And then later on in the night, which we'll talk about, she gets a tag team match for Finn and JD against Awesome Truth for the tag titles.
Yeah.
She gets that done.
Yeah.
Boom.
She's doing a lot for the Judgment Day.
And then I have it somewhere, but I'll jump to it later on. Damian goes in the locker room. Liv's leaving the locker room. He's thinking, Dom, what the hell? Goes in. There's Finn Balor.
It's Finn.
Finn Balor in there. He's like, oh, what the hell? Da-da-da. And he's like, but listen what she did. She got the Dom and Ray match, and she got us the tag match. Like, she's great. Da-da-da. I mean, we're building on the lore, and we're getting closer to the hints of like, oh, maybe it's Finn. Maybe this was a inside job the whole time.
Cahoots or something
maybe they're in cahoots.
And like weeks ago, they came out. Went to Raw, both came out in a car together and stuff like that. We've seen like different weird interactions between the two. They have a sort of history. Yeah, I mean, this storyline is pretty good.
I guess we'll just keep going with it. They won.
They won the tag belts.
Won the tag belts. So let's see. Finn explained. Okay, so Bron during the match, Finn JD versus Awesome Truth for the tag titles. Strowman comes out, which the Braun Strowman, he's like the things. Judgment Day hunter now, which is like whatever. So he comes out and takes out who was it? Carlito and Dom, blah blah blah.
Carlito's just like in it.
It's like kind of in it. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
I guess it's kind of like how JD was, where it was like he was in like floating around before he was like officially like introduced into. I feel like that's what Carlito is.
And they definitely like Carlito more because he's like a legend. They're like, well, he says cool sometimes, so it's chill.
I love that when he's when he showed him the pictures, he goes, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, that's cool.
Love that. It's so.
Oh yeah, because that's something I didn't mention, but Liv like came to the ring something about like, oh, I sent you pictures or like some shit. Yeah. But anyway, also important to note, backstage to get the match accomplished, Liv kind of duped R-Truth. She kind of, was a little flirty and a little like, oh, I'm going to talk my way into this. Took advantage of R-Truth, and he's like, oh, perfect. I'm the tag team champion. I can get that match done. And she's like, you can? Boom. That match gets done.
Yep.
To Miz's surprise to the Miz, who was on commentary
with Michael
because Pat
Cole,
McAfee was off, which was later learned that he had a family emergency.
Yep.
Also, Miz, fantastic on commentary. Just want to say that real quick.
Always reliable.
But then, and Miz comes back and he's, R-Truth's like, oh, I got us a tag match. And Miz is like, what the? He's like, I've been on commentary for 2 hours. What the fuck? So anyway, they got the match. Bada bing, bada boom. Liv turns on, well, I don't know if you want to say turns, but whatever. Turns on R-Truth, hitting the sort of rope pull down move. Helps Judgment Day get the win. So, it's a lot here. A couple things. First of all, I love this. I think would I have wanted Awesome Truth to have a better run, a more notable run, of course.
Yeah, I think that the peak of it unfortunately was them winning it.
It's
sure. Like I wasn't like, and I didn't hate their run, but it definitely was a bit underwhelming. Like they had some defenses, they had some good matches, and Truth is great.
The chase was a lot more fun than
100%. Yeah.
But so two things why I love this. One, Liv, proving her worth to the Judgment Day. She's kind of getting in, in people's favor. Now it's kind of like Finn can now be like, see, Damian, she got the match and we won the titles.
Yep.
Now that puts Dom in an awkward position because now some people in Judgment Day might favor Liv. Is Liv just going to join Judgment Day? There's a lot.
Recency bias, man. They're forgetting about Mommy.
So that's the thing. Mommy's not around.
Yeah.
So that's, what I mean? They're like, Liv is kind of filling this spot.
It's always crazy to me how, like, and I get the same thing with, like, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins situation with Punk getting hurt. Like, how on the fly, like, Rhea getting hurt legitimately, like, led to all of this.
And it's, like, it's fantastic.
And you wouldn't think that, like, they had this planned the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love how at the end, like, Finn and JD are at the top, like, with the belts, and Liv comes in, and Finn, they look like,
yeah, right,
shrugs
exactly.
and holds up the belts.
So they're kind of in favor, and that kind of puts Dom a little bit on the outskirts.
Puts Damian too a little bit because he's been anti-Liv. I mean, we'll see what happens on Raw, like what his reaction is, but
also
he's been
kind
anti-Liv.
Also, kind of puts him, which I know maybe we shouldn't have talked about this first because I'm intertwining stuff. We're kind of getting all jumpy, but during which we'll talk about the Seth and Damian promo, but during that promo. Seth's. I feel like we're jumping around.
Wants to make a little side bet.
Seth says, if Seth loses, he will never challenge for the world title again as long as Damian has it.
Correct.
If Seth wins, Damian has to leave Judgment Day. Damian rebuttals, saying, that's fine. I'm the world champion. They need Damian Priest a lot more than I need them. So now, with the tag belts back in, now Damian isn't the only champion anymore. Sure. He is the world champion.
Yeah.
But
he's not the only one with gold.
Not the only one with gold. So I feel like that kind of changes the group dynamic. I think the group is going to be interested, like, why'd you say you don't need us? Like, what the fuck? Do you think you're the leader now? Rhea was our leader. There's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I think, throughout the whole night, they with like multiple segments and multiple matches, they just built this story and progressed the story all night. And then the conclusion with winning the tag titles, I thought it was great. I think this all is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of the direction it's going down. I think they're setting up a bunch of things. I mean, I think Rhea will come back at some point. So it'll be like the question of who's on whose side here. It's like, will there be like a little Judgment Day, like Dom, like Finn, JD, and Liv are on the same page, and maybe it's like Damian, Dom, and Rhea are on the same page, and like you can do like a little like a war game, like a Bloodline War Games type of situation. Was like you have two different versions of the Judgment Day. Maybe it's very interesting, and I like how this is playing out. Like years ago, when they were the champs and whatever, we saw Judgment Day on TV constantly. It opened up every show, closed out every show, and it was exhausting. Now we're kind of back in that Judgment Day is taking over Raw. Now it's so much better this time.
It's good.
It's so like I'm not upset about them having all these backstage segments. It's all adding to the story and it's leading to something.
Credit to Liv.
Credit to Liv. Credit to Dom. Credit to Dave. Credit to everyone. I love there was a tweet where it's like Finn had the best night of his life. Like he was backstage playing 2K with his buddies. Like took out Braun Strowman and then won the tag team championships at the end of the night. Like he had a great Monday. He had a great Monday. So yeah, and I also think Damian too. Like I'm not going to give my prediction of who's going to win, him or Seth, but like I feel like it obviously adds more to the match. I feel like they're kind of setting Damian up at some point to go like to make a turn, and like he goes back on like he's a babyface again and stuff.
Well, it seems like for sure.
Like he was before. I think he's very believable as a babyface too. And I've enjoyed his title run in the sense too where it's like he's a fighting champ. Like he's the one that challenged Seth, and that's why Seth was like, like last week, like you one up me, like you challenged me first, and that's a ballsy move. That's a bold move. But this week I'm gonna one up what type of thing? And then Damien obviously said what he said. I really liked his presentation as champion because it's like he's like, I'm the champ, I'll defend it because I think I'm better than you, and he hasn't proven anyone wrong yet. So
I think Damien absolutely needs to win because like I
agree.
If Seth gets the belt back, like great, like Seth's a great champion, whatever, but like then like what? Like, okay, Seth's the champion now.
I think it's a little too soon to split to get him away from the Judgment Day. Like they can do that, but I think you can drag it on a little bit more. There's more story to be told.
I think it needs to come close. I think you got the soundbite of him saying, I don't need Judgment Day. I think that's enough to keep going with stuff, and you don't need to split them yet.
Right.
I also think like a win against Seth, like you were saying how he challenged him and he's like a defending champion, that win is going to be huge for Damien.
And I think I said it last week, like especially if he's going to go into SummerSlam against Gunther, like I'm still in the camp that Gunther is going to win, but he just beat Drew in his home country. He just beat Seth in 2 big title matches. You're making him very believable. And it's like, oh, you know what? Like I do think Gunther's going to win, but they couldn't keep the belt on Damien.
I mean, and you can also do Judgment Day shenanigans in the Gunther match, but like, yeah, I think we realized, and like I said, I've been enjoying it too, and I think realized for a good reason that after he beat Drew, we're like, oh, he's not a transitional champion. Yeah. Drew went off and is doing his thing with Punk without the title. So I think if you did that, if you had him beat Drew, I think there's more of a reason to beat Drew. What are you counting?
How many months he would be champion if he lost at SummerSlam? He'd be a 4-month champ.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
I don't think
even if he
not every
loses
reign needs to be close to a year or anything.
But I think
like
now
that
I think if you're gonna have him lose to Seth or Drew, I would have rather it Drew. Seth, I think it's just a good challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't make. I think people are gonna be pissed if Seth wins. It's kind of like it's almost like I don't know, Cena wins sort of.
He's a
like
good guy,
Becky wins,
but like
sort of whatever.
He's not. This has just kind of been thrown together, and then, like Seth had the belt for so long, he doesn't need to get the belt back right away.
Right. We'll move on. Some Uncle Howdy stuff. We're going to start with
spooky.
Chad Gable comes to the arena. He's alive.
He's like, no, I don't want any of this. Security guards.
He didn't want to discuss. It would be reported whether he was cleared or not throughout the night. It was noted he didn't want to discuss his mental health. So Chad Gable goes on to win against Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Big win.
Huge win. I loved it. Also, after he won, he yelled, "Chad Gable cannot be killed."
I love the promo he gave, like going to the ring too and stuff like that. Just kind of talking about, I'm not dead, despite the reports, whatever, and kind of saying the same thing.
I'm a little iffy on this. First of all, I love that Chad Gable gets the win. I think he deserves a spot like this. But then why was he the one that was shot in the head? Because it almost like if they wanted to play it as fantasy and if they played it as like they're talking to Chad and he's like, what are you talking about? And that whole thing was fantasy, I think that would have worked way better. But they legitimized it. And then he was like, I can't be killed and da-da-da. So they legitimized it so it actually happened. So now it's like, and we'll talk about the Uncle Howdy stuff that kind of happened after his match, but like, what? I think it discredits it a little bit for me because it's like, well, what the fuck? He was supposed to be taken out.
What confused me is how at first they were like, he's not cleared to compete, and then like the next day they were like, oh, he actually is cleared to compete, type of thing. I feel like there's a lot more story to be. I think Chad Gable and this Uncle Howdy, like Wyatt Six group, like there's still more. I think
this is just. I agree. I think this is just the start.
This is just the start of it.
Maybe he'll start to spiral and because they did say he doesn't want to talk about his mental health.
Right, and then we saw backstage. I think that's gonna be. He's talked to them, and then we saw the Creed brothers. See, like whatever he goes. I don't know. Like I need help or something like that. Right. So I think there's. Maybe the whole thing in the head is like a symbolic thing, and maybe that's like what they do to their victims, where it's like it looks like they got a bullet. They got shot in the head, but it's like they're doing something to them mentally.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
To me, face value, I don't love it, but I'm fully trusting that it's going to make sense.
I need it to play out. Yeah. So I'm not jumping. I'm not even disagreeing with what you're saying. I just need to see it play out before I make an opinion about it, I guess.
And also, he did get the win because of Judgment Day help. So it's not, and like the Bron feud and stuff. So like, it's not like he just like won straight up clean, which kind of, you know, but it is interesting how a week ago he was basically dead and then now he's not.
Yeah.
But I think there is a lot to be told. I'm with you. So lights go out. Sister Abigail or Abby the Witch, or they're the same person. I genuinely have no fucking idea.
No one on the internet knows.
No one on the internet knows. They're both named Abby or Abigail, so they might be the same person.
Same, but I don't know.
I have no idea.
I'm not going to be the one.
Nikki Cross,
yes,
who it is, enters the ring. She's got a VHS tape. She scares the shit out of Gable. He bounces. Gives Michael Cole the VHS tape with a one Casey looking.
Bro.
Pat McAfee's Casey looking all scared.
He was all
in the background.
distraught. He was all scared. I love Michael Cole was like, we gotta see if like we got one of those machines back there or something like that. We haven't heard that in 25 years.
I think it was like, for those that don't know, this is a VHS tape. Yeah.
So funny.
And like you said, quick little note backstage, Gable does go to Alpha Academy.
Yep.
Kind of is like, you know, let's reunite. I need your help. I'm sorry. Da-da-da.
They didn't give a fuck.
Maxine and Tozawa seemed a little like maybe.
Otis, not so much.
Otis kind of just was unsure. No answer, but like he walked away with them, kind of took them with them. Turns around. Who's there but the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. So there's that stuff.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
A lot happening. Exciting. Hopefully that means maybe Creed brothers, which I thought he was going to take in the Creed brothers. Maybe it's the Creed brothers taking him in. Hopefully there's a lot more. His new family. I mean, that's so.
That kind of plays into the.
It does play into like the family theory. I think he even mentioned to the Alpha Academy. He even mentioned like, you guys are my family, and I'm sorry I did this to my family. They made sure to hone in on like, he did this to his family, which is also Alpha Academy.
Very Vin Diesel-esque.
Very Vin Diesel-esque.
Yeah.
So I think you're right with like this whole family and victims thing, and I think mental health thing is going to start playing a lot into Gable stuff. I think it's all going to come back around. So the VHS tape,
bro.
They find a VHS thing, they put it on,
dude,
boom, it plays.
I've probably rewatched this like 5-10 different times.
This was fantastic.
The presentation of it, just like how it was like choppy and it would like pause and then like replay.
The editing was really good.
The editing was so good.
They definitely didn't shoot it on a VHS tape, which I think they could have. I don't know why they didn't, but it seemed they definitely. I have Adobe Premiere.
Them showing Bo Dallas, not like as his own character and not as Uncle Howdy.
I mean, that was Taylor Rotunda.
Dude, who that was. When they showed, it was blurry, then it cleared up, and it was him. I'm like, fuck, dude. And
so just to set it up for the people visually, it was Uncle Howdy in an interviewing setting, and they show
like a therapy session,
and they reveal Bo Dallas. Which a quick thing about this is, a lot of internet fans, I think the majority, or more than I guess we think a lot of times, are on the internet. It is interesting to think of like a very casual, let's say a family and some kids, whatever, just watching this and then being like, why the hell is Bo Dallas being interviewed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when they put it on YouTube, they said Bo Dallas in the title. Maybe they'll kind of separate it because again, there's so much story told. Maybe he's like, I'm not Bo Dallas. Like in whatever his Taylor.
I would love him to go by Taylor, but more so, I'm like in the very, very, very casual people that don't even know like Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt are real life brothers.
Sure. Like what the hell is he doing here?
Huh?
Wasn't this guy in the B team years ago?
What does he have to do?
Leave.
Right. But anyway,
so they started, and he's like, I'm nobody. And then he's like, there he is. And then the
way Uncle Howdy was talking was so creepy. Oh my God,
I love it. It's like you can tell like it was Bo. Like it's like the personality disorder.
Right,
type.
sure.
This is like his fiend.
Sure,
essentially,
yes.
right? So, and he was like, how'd you feel when your brother died?
I thought that was insane.
I mean, I love that they're intertwining
Yeah.
all of this. Like, it must be hard and like very like obviously close to home, and it's like you're talking about some very sensitive topics. But I think you need to do, like, they needed to do that to make this like that much better and feel so much bigger than what it is.
And then to go on that, my favorite part of it was he mentioned Bray and how did you feel and da-da-da. And then, you know, I'm gonna call him Taylor. He was really just like, no one has felt the hurt that I felt and da-da-da. But then he goes on, the next question was, or the next statement was, don't you feel like you're exploiting, that was the word. Don't you feel like you're exploiting Bray's passing? Holy shit,
dude.
Wow.
It's some hard-hitting question.
And then I think and his response was, all his life he wanted to be like his brother, he wanted to be just like his brother, he looked up to him, he's the reason he's in WWE. They wanted to work together. They wanted to wrestle together. They had this whole plan. Like they were finally working together. Got cut short. And then he says, they wanted to forget about me. They wanted to forget about him. They wanted to forget about us. Very like kind of getting into that like alter ego, mental health stuff. He's like, they want to forget. I'm not going to let them forget my brother's message, my brother's legacy. Da-da-da.
He said he doesn't want him to become a mausoleum or something like that.
He says, I'm going to make them all remember. Woo.
And Uncle Howdy goes, yes, we will. Or like, yes, we did.
So crazy.
And
like,
then
perfect.
The pan out and they're in the Firefly Funhouse.
Unreal.
That's what they needed, dude. Like,
unreal.
Like, it's like last week, Hap's like, okay, what's the purpose? What's the message they're trying to send? Like, what's the end game here? That right there, dude, answered so many questions. And I hope that they do that for every other member.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, whether it's Uncle Howdy doing it for, like, the Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Like in, like, their
Abby
normal...
the Witch interviews Nikki Cross.
Or that, something like that.
The fucking Bunny interviews Eric Rowan.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Because I think that gives a story for everyone now.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this is, like, Uncle Howdy being the leader. You wanted to get this one out of the way first. This was the most important one. But yeah, dude, just hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's like you're blurring the lines. It's like not even. You're literally just talking about Bray Wyatt dying.
Yeah, very emotional.
Like very emotional.
And I hadn't even seen criticism, which I'm sure there was a little bit of it, but I hadn't personally seen criticism of like, well, you know what? I've seen a little bit of criticism that I don't agree with, but of, you know, people are like, oh, they're taking advantage of Bray Wyatt's death. You know, these are his characters. They're not his, you know, his brothers doing. Like I've seen a little bit of criticism, but like the general
like
public
it or something like that, trying to get something out of it.
I haven't seen a ton of it, but I've seen a little bit of it. But it's really, really cool that they acknowledged it and talked about it and just straight up, like Uncle Howdy straight up asked, like, "Are you exploiting your brother?"
Because at the end of the day, it's like all of this is because of Bray.
Right.
So it's like it all comes back to him. And like Uncle Howdy, you know, the backstory of him is like Bray Wyatt would say like he would have nightmares and he'd see a man in his nightmares and it was Uncle Howdy and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, you could play the same thing of he's the nightmare for Bo Dallas or Taylor or whatever. So it all comes back to Bray. So it's really good that they acknowledged it and are keeping him involved. He's in the story even though he's not here and stuff. So yeah, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, everything from story to production to camera stuff to they're 2 for 2 so far. Their debut and this really, really good.
Yeah,
I liked to find like even like the bit of Abby the Witch, like the in-person stuff with Chad and handing over the VHS tape and her walking through the crowd. I think it's all really, really good. Good stuff.
Big
all right, to close out the show, let's run through, and I think we can do this kind of fast because, like, it is Forbidden Door, and, like, you know, admittedly, we don't know too much of the CMLL and New Japan people.
Yeah, big time.
So, which is what I like. I say this all the time, Forbidden Door comes around, but it's what I like about Forbidden Door is, you know, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed. I don't know these New Japan guys. It's just something I'm not too experienced in. So Forbidden Door is an amazing opportunity to, like, be introduced to these people 100%. That I don't see a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, forgive me for not being as informed or knowledgeable in terms of doing predictions, but the point of Forbidden Door to me is to like get the door open to these people.
That Forbidden Door open.
The Forbidden Door open.
Yep.
But I think I'm with you. Fuck the points. We're not going to do the points.
Okay.
All right. First match, we got the Learning Tree, consisting of Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. I'm going Joe, Hook, Shibata.
Okay.
I think it's go either way. I love like Joe taking Hook under his wing and kind of that sort of stuff. So I think this is an easy face win. There's not much more on that. Learning Tree is new, so I could see them getting the win, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I like the combination, the duo of Samoa Joe and Hook. I like what they're kind of doing with them, but I feel like the Learning Tree has become a prominent part of the program and stuff, and they're trying to like really build up this group, I guess, in one way or another. That I feel like this win, I guess, would benefit them. I know it's Chris Jericho, but like I'm gonna go Learning Tree.
All right,
just like give them their first win as a trio, kind of make them a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
and that's really.
I guess that's a good point. This is their real first, like, to my knowledge, their first like real establishing group.
Yeah.
Thing. All right, next match, the Elite, consisting of the Young Bucks and Okada versus Scissor Ace, consisting of the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yes.
I got the Elite.
Yeah, I do too.
Strictly for credibility wise. This match was made last night. Okay. And Daddy Ass kind of laid down the challenge and all that. It seems like it's like which Forbidden Door is a lot of this. It's not even a criticism. It's just like, thrown together, but like that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
But Bucks and Okada establishing the EVP stuff. Okada and Tanahashi have a lot of history.
Yep.
But for more so just like EVPs need the credibility win.
I think you keep the momentum. You keep the momentum rolling and stuff. It's like they're supposed to be this big threat in the company, treated as the top group. You got to give them these wins.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson versus, again, apologies on all the pronunciations for all of these, but Tagagi.
Owen Hart Cup match.
Owen Hart Cup first round match.
Yes.
I got Danielson just for the fact that it's a tournament that happens on Dynamite.
Right.
Is Tagagi. Apologies. Let's say Shingo. Is Shingo gonna? I don't know much. I'm sure there's a relationship with AEW there between Shingo, but Bryan Danielson's. I think Bryan Danielson's gonna win the whole thing. To be honest with you,
I think we kind of talked about that. Where it's like at the end of the day, whoever wins this tournament is getting an AEW championship match.
Right.
I think Danielson being in that picture is the best decision to make here. I think the tagline is like Dragon versus Dragon, like Shingo is like nicknamed the Dragon, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a great match, of course, but I think it just makes more sense for Danielson to win, which is I'm picking Danielson as well, because I do believe he could win the whole thing and potentially win the AEW World Championship for the first time.
There is a there is someone I think there's a TBA.
Yeah, against Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've announced.
The Elite teased that like it's their guy. Their guy's going to be the one.
It could be Hangman.
People are saying Hangman.
Yeah, and then you if you have that, you can revisit Hangman.
Swerve.
It's like it's written for them. It's right there.
It's like they write it.
Yeah, it's like they write the show.
But next match is MJF versus, I'm going to mispronounce this, Hechikiro. This is the guy.
Is he a CMLL?
He's CMLL.
Yeah.
He's a luchador. This is the guy like MJF for the past 2 or 3 weeks has been just like, I'm just gonna face some guy in a mask on Forbidden Door. I'm just gonna face some dude. I got MJF. He's just returned. This is his first pay-per-view match. MJF.
Yeah, I'm also gonna pick MJF in the sense of like he just came back. He shouldn't lose. I know he had his first match with Roosh and everything like that.
Right. But first pay-per-view match.
Yeah, no, you got to keep the momentum rolling and stuff. You can't have him losing these matches early on. Especially
because last night, which we're going to talk about, I think we're going to talk about, more about Dynamite on the Patreon, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. But last night, him and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
Which big. Well, I can't wait to talk about Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
But him and Daniel Garcia, he basically said like, "Oh, you and me." What did he say it was for?
All in.
Yeah, he was like, "You and me, all in."
Will
so I think like
came out to the thing, but yeah.
If you're and also like the whole thing with that was Will Ospreay like undercutting MJF and like one upping him basically. So I think like if you're keeping MJF the guy, I think Forbidden Door win. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, I agree.
John Moxley versus Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. This I have
I was gonna
fucking
say,
idea.
This is a toss.
I'm so hyped for this match. Naito, again, apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Naito is someone that like I'm not too familiar with. I haven't seen a lot.
Past? Have they had a match before?
I'm not sure. I'm sure they have. I've seen a couple of Naito matches.
Maybe.
But he does this thing with his eye and shit. He like opens up his eye and shit. I don't know. Naito is fucking sick. He's like which we'll talk about next, like a Zack Sabre Jr. or a Tanahashi, who I don't happen to see a lot of just because of like they're in New Japan. I haven't seen a whole lot of like whatever. But I'm excited for this.
He also said if Moxley beats him, he'll get his spot in the G1 Climax tournament, New Japan.
Whoa!
So they did they have hold on? Yes. So that's who he beat for the belt. Yes. Yeah. That's who he beat for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Oh no, for a different champ. Yeah, he's beat him in the past.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm strictly because I've mainly been picking AEW guys. I'm going Naito. You got to have some people from the other promotion win. And I know barely little about the story. It's just a gut feeling of like maybe Mox is going to win. But I'm kind of just, I don't know, picking Naito.
I'm going to go Moxley just because this is a toss up for me and I want to be different, so we have some different picks here. And I can see him I know the stories like him bringing the championship back to New Japan and stuff like that, cause even though Moxley's competing all over the world and stuff like that, it's like he is an AEW guy, so it's like you can play into that, winning his title back and everything. But I think Mox has been great. I mean, he's been an unbelievable champion. He's been defending it. He's been bringing it to all these promotions and stuff.
Wow, Naito's 42.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
I thought
crazy.
he was kind of like
I just say keep the reign going and just like, he gets the spot in the climax, see what Moxley does there. But yeah, I mean, that's a 50-50. That would be my lowest.
I think that was my one. I mean, he's so decorated. Well, he's only a one-time IWGP World Heavyweight. Naito is.
Damn.
Oh, what is this? They have an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and they also have an IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Oh, it was. So I guess maybe that was the belt.
Interesting.
Okay, so maybe like technically a 4-time world champion then, which is a lot more than I thought. I see. He won. Did he win the?
He won the climax 3 times. It looks like.
So is Naito going to go back to?
He won it last year.
That's interesting.
A lot of implications there. He was the number 4th wrestler in 2020, right?
On Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. I mainly just for the. I don't know. I wonder if they're just gonna take it off Mox at this point.
Yeah, they can do like a 3rd match or something like that, or just keep it tied 1-1.
Who knows?
I'll go Mox though. Why not?
Next match: Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. Zack Sabre coming off of a classic with Bryan Danielson. Last time we saw him, I don't know if that was a Forbidden Door. I think that was a Forbidden Door. I don't know. But I'm going Zack Sabre Jr. I think they're kind of. It seems like Orange Cassidy is kind of like he had his time on top. I think he's kind of on a cool down right now. I don't think there's a huge reason for Orange Cassidy to win. I think Zack Sabre Jr. It's just the more like he's like the classic technical wrestler.
Sure.
And I think they're just gonna. I don't know. And it's gonna be one of these like Orange Cassidy moments where it's like a. Holy shit!
He
Orange
fought
Cassidy
Will Ospreay, had a great match.
I think it's gonna be fantastic. But exactly, so I think I'm going. That. What was this at?
Was he Is he a champion, Zack Sabre, or a champion recently?
Oh, it was during Wrestle Dream. Sorry, Wrestle Dream was when they had their Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. is I think he's like a I want to say like TV champion or something.
Okay.
Blah blah blah.
Because I don't think the match isn't being like a.
Oh, he's a former 2-time and inaugural World Television Champion, but I don't believe he's currently a champion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not for a belt or anything.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll go Zack Sabre Jr. Like, I feel like it's going to be a fantastic match. Orange Cassidy can really do no wrong here, but it's just one of those things where I feel like he's not meant to win it. He's just meant to have a really solid showing.
Right.
And Zack Sabre being the better wrestler, the technical wrestler, getting the upper hand here. And maybe he gets implemented more in AEW television moving forward. Who knows? But yeah, I think the better man will win here. It's just a straight up wrestling match. So I think the better man will win.
We'll run through these last 4 matches. We got Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa.
Yes.
And I was watching Dynamite last night, kind of got caught up on this story. They had it was Toni, Shirakawa, and Mariah May on a 3-woman match.
Saraya, Anna Jay, and then Harley something.
I forget.
I forget what it is.
But anyway, Mariah May is at ringside for both women. Kind of the story here has been Shirakawa and Toni Storm have been like fighting over Mariah May.
She came out with both of them for their entrances.
Right.
That was hilarious.
So I think that's going to happen again at this at Forbidden Door. The whole match last night on Dynamite was, everyone showing favorites, and then Tony would get jealous and this. And honestly, I really like it. I think it's really fun storytelling in ring. It is for the AEW Women's Championship. I'm sticking with Tony.
I am too.
Mainly with this now, Mariah's getting like torn here. We're as close as we've ever been to Tony versus Mariah
100%.
May. And I think that's going to be for the world title. And again, Mariah May's going to win.
She's in the Owen Hart Cup on the women's side. I think she's going to win it. And yeah, I agree.
Pretty cut and dry. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaker, I'm just gonna call her Stephanie, in a winner takes all match for the TBS Championship and the New Japan Wrestling, the New Japan Wrestling Strong Women's Championship.
Yes.
A title that was basically made for Mercedes Moné that she never won due to injury.
Yeah.
So Willow had it, and then Julia had it, and now it's on Stephanie. Will Mercedes Moné finally get that title it's made for her? My answer is probably.
Yeah, she's definitely not losing. She just won the TBS championship, just debuted. She ain't losing if it was just for the Strong championship,
sure,
maybe I'd be more inclined to, maybe she doesn't win, whatever. But since it's for a winner take all thing.
And it's a lot of this where it's like, if Stephanie becomes the TBS champion, is she going to be a regular on Dynamite now? Probably not.
And now Mercedes can have both belts.
Right.
She can show up with like 2 belts, Moné. Come on. Mercedes 2 belts.
I'm excited to see Stephanie. Stephanie's also someone I don't know really anything about.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see her showing.
Sure.
Good look. I think she has like these like horns and shit. Yeah, good look to her.
Yeah.
Second to last match. This is going to be crazy. Ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship. Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Jack Perry versus Dante Martin versus Leo Rush versus TBD.
Yeah, that's gonna be when are they gonna have that match at like Collision or something like that? When are they, because it's this Sunday, so when are they
I think it's
is it gonna be like a surprise?
I think it's a surprise. To my knowledge, it's a surprise.
Interesting.
But I'm not totally sure, but to my knowledge, it's a surprise. I'm going, the Elite also kind of hyped it up. I'm going Jack. It's kind of the easy answer, but I think he's the only one without a title. He's going to get the TNT title. Now you got the Elite with tag titles. Okada's got the, what's he have, the International?
Continental.
Or it is Continental.
Yeah, because Will's.
Jesus, Continental. Holy shit. You're right.
There's a lot of them.
Continental champion, and then, So I'm going Jack, but also like this TBD is always like, it's always a wild card.
100%. I'm also going to go Jack.
Yeah.
Just because, we have the same logic where once the TNT championship got vacated and like right off rip, the Elite was like going to give it to Jack Perry and stuff. And then it was like, no, we're going to have a match, all this, a ladder match. And it just seems like it's not set in stone. I don't want to make it sound like it's not going to be unpredictable or anything like that. But the easy answer is Jack Perry winning the championship. It makes too much sense. He's on a roll right now. Give him some gold, and the Elite can be that dominant heel group that just has all the power and all the belts.
Final match before we jump over to the Patreon. Swerve Strickland, the AEW World Champion, versus Will Ospreay. This match is for the AEW World Champion. Will Ospreay, the International Champion.
Yes, it is.
Also, some implications here last night on Dynamite. Again, Daniel Garcia hour in Buffalo. Will Ospreay comes out after MJF's challenge, says, "Oh, you're the guy." Daniel Garcia has been racking up wins and has made it very notable that he wants a shot at Will's International Championship. Will says, "I'll do you one better." When did he say it was for? I think it might just be on Dynamite, like the next Dynamite. He says, "I'll give you your match for International Championship. How about I also put the World Heavyweight Championship on the line, bruv?" You know? So, I'm going with Swerve. I'm sticking to our gut, what we've kind of been talking about for the past few weeks. I'm sticking with Swerve. I think it's too early to just fully give the whole company to Will. Plus, I love the Swerve run. Will's also already got the International Championship. I don't think this loss means a whole lot. I don't think this loss hurts Will a lot. Going Swerve. But this one's now, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm not really putting too much weight into the comment about putting the World Championship on the line.
Yeah.
I think it has to be Swerve because same sentiment, same agreeance of like, Will, you can't give him everything right away.
Yeah.
And it's like, he will get there someday, but he's still the international champ. He can still have a solid run here. Swerve needs to keep going with this reign because it's been so good. And it's like, I don't want it to end, not even like so quick, but I mean, he's only had like one pay-per-view title defense. I think there's so much more like the summer of Swerve. I think he should go into All In as the world champion, like face whoever wins the Owen Hart Cup finals.
Which, like you were saying, if Hangman ends up being, which is heavily rumored, Hangman wins the whole thing. You get Hangman and Swerve revisited. Now the fucking title is online. Now Swerve is the top guy.
Like there's
insane.
There's so much time.
Yeah.
To give that belt to Will, where it's like he's still like, we all know who he is. We all know he's one of the best in the world, if not the best. But he doesn't need to be given the belt right away. And I think you can hold off on it and let Swerve have his moment, and Will get his one day. Just let Will do his thing with the international belt. I think there'll be some shenanigans as to how the match ends.
Because there is always like
the Don Callis stuff, and now maybe MJF, maybe Daniel. You're adding different people.
Prince Nana is always
so you don't really know, who could show up, what could happen. But at the end of the day, I really believe Swerve Strickland should walk out as world champ.
I agree. Yeah. And those are our Forbidden Door predictions. Yes. And that is the show.
Yes, it is.
We're going to head over to the bonus over on Patreon, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. For $5.99 a month, you can get the bonus episode, this episode ad-free, and the bonus episode that we're about to record. And until next week, until next video, until next time, thank you for joining. Leave all your comments. Make sure you're subscribed. Double check, triple check. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. We'll see you all week.
See you all week. Till then, peace.